the name Tutankhamun needs no introduction for a lot of people. Of course, he's more famously known by his nickname, King Tut, but there's a lot of people who don't know why he's actually so famous. Like, where did King Tut come from, and why do we know everything about him? Why do we even talk about him? And I feel it's an interesting story, and I want to share it. So yeah, why is King Tut so famous? Before I answer that, though, I kind of just wanted to quickly go into a bit of his background. And I feel the best course to start is with his father. So Tutankhamun's father was Amenhotep IV. He later changed it to Akhenaten. And Akhenaten is actually a pretty famous pharaoh in his own right. And me personally, I believe he is more deserving of fame than his son. More so because during his reign from 1353 to 1336 BC, he made a lot of significant changes. Changes that actually lasted well past his reign, well past his son's reign. Before Akhenaten's reign, Egypt was, their religion was a form of polytheism, where they worshipped more than one god. However, when Akhenaten came into power, he formed his own monotheism of sorts. Well, it's not so much a monotheism in that he taught that there was only one god. He still acknowledged there was more than one god. It was just worshipping one god, the god Aten, which is what he named his new name after, Akhenaten. Also, what Akhenaten did was he moved the capital of Egypt to Amarna, which he himself built. So obviously you can imagine he was quite full of himself, to say the least. But yeah, that was pretty much his lasting legacy. Created a whole new religion that he basically made his followers, like his people in Egypt, follow, abandoning centuries of tradition and centuries of everything that they've come to know, just for worshipping this new Aten, you know. More interestingly enough, or also interestingly, I should say, Akhenaten was married to Queen Nefertiti, who is also pretty famous. Queen Nefertiti is not Tutankhamun's mother. Egyptologists are pretty agreeable on that. We do believe that Tutankhamun's mother is another mummy that was discovered, who we've called the Younger Lady. Just the Younger Lady. So yeah. Now on to Tutankhamun. So he reigned in the 18th dynasty during the New Kingdom. If you don't know what that is, basically Egypt is broken up into 3 different time periods. The Old Kingdom, the Middle Kingdom, and the New Kingdom. These 3 time periods represented the 3 points in which ancient Egypt was at its highest power. And Tutankhamun reigned during the New Kingdom from 1332 to 1323 BC. And as I put here, he only reigned for 9 years. He claimed the throne at 9 years old, so he was a pretty young king. He's often called the Boy King. And yeah, that is why. He was 9 years old. So he died pretty young as well. So that begs the question, if he only reigned for 9 years, why is he so famous then? And I feel the answer should be here, right? So let's look at his reign. So during his reign, since he was so young when he took the throne, his grandfather-in-law, I, oversaw most of his decisions. And after Tut's reign ended, after he died, I actually took the throne himself. So you can see that I was pretty close to Tutankhamun in that regard. Other than that, Tutankhamun, he reversed his father's stance on religion, bringing back polytheism, and anybody who still believed in Akhenaten's ways was claimed a heretic. And he also moved the capital back to Thebes, which was the capital of Egypt before Akhenaten moved it. So yeah, that's basically all he did of note during his reign. So that can't be it, right? Like, these are three kind of interesting points, but I mean, that's not anything to be super famous about. So the real answer is because his tomb, Tutankhamun's tomb. So it was discovered in November 4 of 1922 by English Egyptologist Howard Carter. And what's significant about this tomb is that it was a very rare pharaoh tomb that was found almost completely intact. It was discovered pretty early on that it was broken into at least twice shortly after Tut was buried, but shockingly nothing was stolen. And that is just a stroke of luck for Egyptologists, because when they found his tomb, they found a room, an antechamber, filled with goods and jewelry and even food. These white vessels that are underneath the bed in the middle, that's actually food vessels that they would put in order for Tutankhamun to have food on his journey to the afterlife. But yeah, just a whole bunch of treasures. And they also found a locked door that has not been opened for 3,000 years. And when they opened it, Carter found the sarcophagus of Tutankhamun still in there with the mummy. And the mummy was wearing this now very famous burial mask. So, yeah, that's basically the simple answer. I wanted to put this into a video form just so it was easy to find for people if anybody was ever interested in just wanted a quick answer to this question. The discovery of Tut's tomb actually sparked a resurgence in Egyptian interest, basically. After this, people just became so interested in ancient Egypt and Egyptology and archaeology and just this time period, because before this, like, there was not many pharaoh tombs that was discovered in this great tact. And since the discovery of this tomb, there was other tombs that was discovered, not in as good shape as this, but still pretty good shape in their own right. And over time, of course, Tutankhamun has become somewhat of a household name. There's been exhibitions of him, books, even video games, like this Atari Tutankhamun. But yeah, that is basically it. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you would like any follow-ups on any of this, like any more specifics on Akhenaten or Egypt itself, be sure to let me know. Thank you all for watching.